Kobe, I'm like Jokic with the rock. You physically couldn't hold me, I don't care if you pushing 40. You can never little bro me. Euro step like Ginobili, from young OG to the OG. From nosebleeds to floor seats, circle stronger than Cuban links. My gold dance, your gold plated. You verse me, now that's a reach. We ready, who ready? We ready, who ready? Who? We ready, who ready? We ready.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hey.
We're wagging our fingers like Paul does.
Yeah,
You bad boy.
yeah.
I had
How is
had
everybody?
enough of a child.
And happy Mother's Day to everybody out there.
That's right. It's past Mother's Day for you.
Yeah, it's Monday morning now.
It's
but-
grandmother's day or something.
Yeah.
Grandmother's Day.
I could have worn a
Oh,
wig or
okay.
something. I could have done my whatever, the movie.
Everyone else spent like a half an hour waiting in line to get to breakfast, and then like a half an hour waiting for food, and a half an hour waiting for drinks, and
Yeah. So it looks
Great
like
day.
they're having audio problems with Dre. So
yeah.
Thank
See you in
God
a little
he's
bit.
much better at flying drones and much luckier than what he is with audio today.
yeah, it seems that way.
What I wanted to tell everyone last week, sort of as a joke, I said we're old people. We're going to talk about our ailments, and we actually did. We're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about interesting things like the Mavic 4 Pro release and what we know
Yes.
about it. So I think that's much better off than talking about our ailments. Most people don't really care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I hear something about a Mini 5 coming out also?
I assure you there will be a Mini
Supposedly.
5, a Mini 6, and a Mini 7
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
in due time. Yes, there is. The rumor on that is it will have a 1-inch sensor. Some people ridiculously think it's going to have 2 cameras in it. I don't believe so. It's just more logical that the Mini has 1 camera, the Air has 2, and the Mavic series has 3. Just makes
Right.
much more logical sense.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's just amazing, though, how from 2014, when I bought my first Phantom 1 with no camera, to what I have now. I mean, the quality is unbelievable.
It really is. It's so true. Hey, Dom, you can get rid of the offline people. Otherwise, it looks...
Yeah. Just working out how to do that. Yep, got it.
Yeah, we
Oh,
go.
but I have bad hair today. We don't want to be enlarged.
Yeah.
No.
Well, I'll see if I can bail you out. Last week, my wife and I went to Vegas.
Oh, there,
And let's see if I can find the picture I have not yet shared. iCloud Drive, 2025, Mini 4
What do you got
Pro,
for us?
Panorama.
All right. Well, while you're searching that,
I got it, and I'll share the screen with you guys. Dominic, share media. No, we're going to not share media. We're going to share screen. Allow. Window. Boom. Boom. This, believe it or not, is from a Mini 4 Pro. If I can't see if you're sharing it.
Yeah, it's there.
The Mini 4
There we
Pro.
go.
Yeah.
It's panorama stitched together. That is
Mm.
in a 0-foot grid. But my friend Cameron Grant granted me permission to fly under his certificate of authority.
Go
And
on.
we flew there, and shockingly, for the 3rd time, I have not been rolled up on by Vegas Metro Police because they've got a system there called Fusion. It's a different law enforcement way of determining any threats, and they alert the Vegas police whenever someone flies a drone because there's so many people there and there's so much money there, and so they're aware of you whenever you take off,
So
especially
they've
with
obviously got to do their due diligence.
Yes.
So, okay, now let's go back and say hello to people in the chat. We have Dustin from One Vision Aerial. Hello.
Hey, Dustin.
Another Dusty from East Coast Thrills. Jeremy says, whoops, too early. Akira Show. Hello, Warren.
Yeah, Warren.
Akirasho, I think.
Ron.
Yeah, Akira.
Akira Show. Oh, I don't know these
Or
days.
Akira Show. Isn't that?
I think it's Akira Show.
I think.
Hello, Ron.
I prefer the Shakira Show, to be honest.
Have you seen videos we haven't?
How about? Where are we? Hello, Jody. Hello, Jason. Hello, Jody. Hello, Jason. Hello, Jody. Who's got? Hello, Jason. Hello, Jody. We've got an echo. Hello, Jason.
That would be me. I shut it off because I went to see who was talking in the chat directly.
Yeah.
So,
Mr. Techno Wizard.
hey, I caught it.
Hello, Bill.
It's not a paid job, so
I understand.
my
Hello,
AV
Brian.
I get paid for. I got to be careful. But
Right.
this,
I think we've.
yeah, there's only looks like a dozen people or so.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Everyone either smash the like button or at least touch it. I don't like smashing my keyboard. It's too sensitive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about
Hello,
doing that
Ronnie.
earlier.
About click.
Yes, click the up thumb.
That's John, right? God bless America.
Yeah. Hello, Michael, all the way from the UK.
And it's Mr. Ray. Captain Ray, sorry.
Yeah, Captain.
Praise him.
You know, it would have been great if Ray not only was a
Oh, God bless.
on a boat, but he also became a captain in the police force. I don't think he liked that. I think he liked being a detective better.
Hello, Ray.
Can't give enough credit to police officers, though.
Yeah.
Yep, they put their lives
all
on the
caught
line
up
every
now.
day.
So what other topics are we gonna get to
Well,
tonight?
Jeff made me. How do you guys? Okay, I've got 6 or 7 drones. I
Yep.
have them all labeled, on my hard drive as different models. Then when I fly, I put the date and then the location. How do you guys file your videos?
Yeah, pretty
Okay.
much the same way.
And let me tell you why I think that's a mistake. It doesn't matter what took a picture. It doesn't really matter when you took the picture because we as humans are not going to remember. That was taken on Tuesday, June 12th, 2024. What matters, if you want to find it later, is the location.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
file everything
Location then
by
date.
location first.
Oh, okay.
And then I have, so if like that would be Las Vegas, it would be 057 if it was the 57th shot I shot of Vegas that I kept. And then it would have an underscore 2024 05.
Okay.
I don't really date things like Americans or Europeans or Australians. I go year, 4 digits.
Right.
And then a month is 2 digits because the month is smaller.
Yeah.
And then 2
Date.
digits date.
Yeah.
So that way it's in alphabetical order. I think filing it by drone, no one gives a shit what you shot it with. I'm sorry. People love to say, this is with my man. You don't think I could have shot the same shot with it? There's a shot there. I could have shot it
I
with
understand
my
that.
Autel Light Plus. I could have shot it with my Mavic 3 Pro. I could have shot it with my Nano Plus. I could have shot it with my Mini 4 Pro. It doesn't matter. No one cares.
Yeah.
All that
It's
matters
the
is,
date.
and you also,
It's the date.
you're not going to remember what you shot it with, nor do you need to. And in fact, I'm mixing in my pictures that I take with my regular ground-based cameras because if I shot a picture of the Statue of Liberty, I want all those pictures in the same place. It doesn't matter what you shot it with at all.
Yeah.
No one really, people ask that a lot, but I think it's a very
Valid point.
amateurish question. It basically is saying, hey, Leonardo da Vinci, what kind of paintbrush did you use? No one It doesn't matter. Leonardo da Vinci is still going to paint the same way no matter what he is painting with. He's going to paint with what the tool is such a small part of you creating that image. So that other stuff to me is all bullshit. And you are not going to remember what you
Yeah.
shot it with. All you can remember is, oh, I'm looking for a picture of the Statue of Liberty taken at twilight with some clouds behind it.
All right. Well, first of all I have is cornfields, so
Okay.
it'd be one big file.
Okay.
Cornfields.
Right.
Yeah, 500 gigabyte worth of cornfields.
Well, when you do travel and you go other places and you do have the golf course, you do have other things.
I do.
So that would be my advice. If as someone just said, I just saw they just upload to their SSDs. I think first of all, it's important to get rid of if you have two things. I apply different settings per drone. Okay, but if you're looking for the thing, drone guy later on, you're not going to remember, chances are, but you certainly will remember the subject 100% of the time.
I'd go location and take personally.
In the file
all
itself, there's something known as metadata, which will tell you what you shot it with and the date you shot it with. So if you want to be a purist, I'm just love to have that extra because it doesn't cost me anything other than a few seconds of typing.
Yeah.
This will tell me Statue of Liberty 127 _ 2025 05 11. That's today.
Jeff, all right, I got a question. I think
Yes.
you're probably the best one to answer. So you're talking about the metadata, and that's great. It used to be like there was a big thing like what program you use to organize all your photos,
Right.
especially based on metadata. Now, a lot of this is taken care of by how we are naming them when we save them. The nomenclature is like, what do you use? Do you use anything other than either Apple's default or Windows Explorer, and you've got metadata to rely on? Or what about the AI that'll help? Supposedly AI can help arrange all this and organize it and look at all of it and listen to all the metadata. Have you found anything that's decent along those lines?
Since I use time going through all my images that I shot to decide which ones I want to keep and which ones I don't, I do that. I do that while I'm going through the photos. Could I put them in Lightroom or something similar? Because Lightroom is a tool organized, yes. But I don't like some of the policies Adobe has had, such as using anything they change for you becomes part of their AI scheme. They're learning from what we do, and basically we're helping teach a tool that may eventually put us out of business. So I stopped using Adobe products. I use Luminar Neo as my primary editor, and it didn't matter because I used Lightroom mostly as an editor and not as an organizer. I know professional photographers that have used it for decades and will continue to, and God bless them. I have always used my file names as something that will help me find them. And then, in my solid state drive, I've got folders for each letter of the alphabet, and within that, if I'm in, what is it, Oswego?
Yes.
If I'm in Oswego, I would say Oswego IL because there's an Oswego NY. 001 _ let's say it was last year, 2024 12/25. And I'll be the first one.
Well, okay, first of all, I was drunk on that day, so
That's why you didn't know I was there.
I remember it vividly.
But I did leave you a drone accessory, so if you found one around that time, you're welcome. Ho, ho, ho.
Gotta love you, Jeff.
Yeah.
So that's how I organize. There's many ways that are good, and simply using a tool like Lightroom or similar tools is not a bad situation. But since I spend time going through and getting, if I'm taking two shots and I take two of them and I move a few feet to one side, I'm not going to keep both of them. I'm going to keep the one that I feel is more compelling.
You're going through and edit them. Yeah.
Plus, secret tip, if you like how the photos I post, I shoot almost everything as AEB. Typically 3-shot AEB because I shoot it JPEG and RAW. And that gives me a lot more dynamic range, which we all know this, but to the people watching, Dynamic range in sound is between the quietest and the loudest sound that you can hear. So on a little tiny speaker on a portable radio, you don't have much dynamic range. On thank you for coming to Jack in the Box. You have no dynamic range, but a better audio system, you have great dynamic range. Similarly, with photos, if you can see stuff in the dark areas and see detail, and then go to the light areas and see detail, no camera on earth can cover as much range as we can see with our eyes. So
Yeah.
with AEB, it'll shoot exposure, exposure, exposure. You stitch them together, and that's how one of the tricks I use to make my photos like the one right behind me as lifelike as possible. That day was a little bit dull. Without making it look like an HDR abomination, I combine these three and either increase or decrease certain parts of the photo, and it gives it a much more pleasing appearance that looks more natural and lifelike. So, so I do Oswego 001 A with the DNG and A with the JPEG. I usually will keep both actually, even though you don't need it.
So,
I'll have 6 shots of an AEB, 3 in JPEGs and three RAW.
all right. So you primarily just take photographs, I'm assuming then.
No, I do
No.
both a
Okay.
tremendous amount.
All right.
Videos are in there also because if I want to find, I go .mp. It'll be MP4
Yeah.
Yeah.
or MOV sometimes with other formats, but I put everything together. And this way I remember by location because that's what we're going to remember. We're not going to remember the date. We're not going to remember the drone that shot it probably. But we're going to remember sun sneaking over left shoulder of Statue of Liberty. Let me go to the Statue of Liberty photos and I'll find it. I think it was in 2022, but it could have been 2023. Boom.
All right. That's, yeah. I never look at it that way. I appreciate it. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it works for me. I've made a decent amount of money and I've been pretty successful. Ray, I'm trying to get our friend Joe to listen to me. I'm trying to teach him. Yeah.
Have you've hooked up with Captain Ray flying then?
He's just been back a few days, so I haven't yet. I called to check on him, and thank God he made it back well. He's doing okay. He was chilling out in his backyard, and we will likely fly this week sometime.
Sweet. Good. Yeah.
Awesome.
So what have you guys heard about the Mavic 4 Pro?
No, I only release you
360
find
degree
on.
spin.
Yeah.
I don't have the money.
No.
Well, likely because of the inconsistency of tariffs. We don't really know what it's going to cost. They will, I believe, this week announce it, have their official reveal. The things that I like about it, it's got a sensor the same physical size, 4/3 of an inch, as the previous, but it has more density. It's 100 megapixel.
Wow.
Right. And Ray says it's not being released in the U.S. That could be because whenever there's uncertainty, it's bad. I believe the low end will be somewhere in the 2000s, just the drone and the baby remote, as I
Oh,
call it.
that's cheap.
Yeah, it'll. Of course, we don't know how much they want to absorb it. The remote, it's sort of like this. Well, the screen rather.
Yeah.
That with one battery, let me see. The one with the Fly More combo will be somewhere in the low 3000s, likely, and with the professional screen. Yes, Ray, I am getting this one because I haven't had a telephoto lens. All of my drones, other than the Mavic 3 Pro, have and that I only had for a short time, don't have that telephoto lens. So that telephoto lens creates what you call parallax. If you ever see someone on a mountaintop and the drone moves around or a camera moves around and the background moves faster, it gives this effect.
Yeah, so we get to that discussion again, Zoom v telephoto.
It's not Zoom.
I know that, but it's a great discussion.
It's not a discussion as a professional photographer and videographer.
I know that,
Zoom, it's in a typically abused term. It's like
that's what I mean. everybody
People
gets
call
them
their
confused.
computers my hard drive, but in that box is a video card, a power supply, memory. The hard drive is just the thing that holds the data. The computer's not the hard drive. Just
Wait,
because people make
data,
it,
not data.
yeah. I mean,
Picture.
yes. So it's a fourth. It's people also said micro four thirds. Micro four thirds is a system of cameras and lenses that you can interchange. Doesn't matter what brand. The four thirds of an inch sensor in any drone is just a four thirds inch sensor, with the exception of the Inspire series that is actually a micro four thirds. I can get an Olympus lens, put it on there, and it would work because it's a true micro four thirds. But the sensor itself is four thirds of an inch. Um, what Jim said before is the whole front of the drone will turn, so you can do vertical shots. So it's just not in the mini series.
Not just vertical, a 360 roll. It's
Yeah,
supposed to
it
go
will.
complete 360 roll.
That's true.
Not just a vertical mode and a horizontal mode.
And
That's what they're saying.
with the Pro screen, the screen itself rises up off the controller.
Yeah.
You physically turn the screen, and it will turn. Yes, it can go 360, but I don't see much real. That's just for the purposes of getting to where it needs to get to. I don't think anyone will be doing this because you'll get sick.
Right.
We're
I'd
doing
agree
it on the
with that,
stage
yeah.
on Wednesday nights with
Right.
guitars doing.
I believe it will turn up about 70 degrees, which is much more
Right.
than any drone I've ever used before, with the exception of the Parrot Anafi, which goes straight up. So the Parrot Anafi was
Yeah.
perfect for under structure inspections like bridges. And it's going to be quite a good sensor. And one of the things that I really like about it is if you shoot and you want to create some effects that you need a neutral density filter, there is a neutral density filter electronic attachment that will work with this. It
Wow.
will not be out when around the announcement time, but it will be out theoretically near the end of the month. Of course, everything with any kind of import now is up in the air because everyone's jockeying for position. So drone shots, I think you're right. I don't think it will go 360. I think in effect it will turn, but you may be right. There's no reason for it to spin around and around unless.
No, but they said it would. They said total 360 continuous.
That'll be
Okay.
fun.
Who knows?
We'll find out
Well, if
soon.
you need vertical shots, if you need traditional landscape shots, it's going to do that with any of the three lenses. And then the neutral density filter will be variable. People, we were talking before about terms. People use the term 180-degree rule. There's no such thing. This started back in the days of film cameras. And in a film camera, the way that they got the 24 frames per second is that they had a rotating mechanical shutter in there. And it rotated around. And when the shutter was fully closed at 180 degrees when it's open, that's how they got the term 180-degree rule. Well, almost no drone uses a mechanical shutter, and zero drones have ever or will use a rotating mechanical shutter. So forget the term 180-degree rule. It's just stupid. Nothing. But there is a double over frame rate rule. If you want to shoot 24 frame per second end result, you should shoot at a 50th of a second exposures. And in order to get that, you use a neutral density filter. Is it a necessity? No. Watch Ted Nemeth's videos. Ted shoots all the time. If you're going very fast and very close to things, it will look better if you're in this double over frame rate ratio. But I've shot many times at an 800th of a second and a 2000th of a second, and it doesn't look bad as long as you're not getting, you're zooming above grass and seeing things change. Then it will look a little bit choppy and erratic. But you should, if you can, try to do that.
All right. So I always shoot auto, but then I'm lazy.
Right.
Now, what
Me too.
frame rate do you post at on your
I
video?
typically, movies have always been shot at a 24 frames per second.
Okay.
So, but I don't shoot for movies typically. I shoot for marketing videos for businesses. So I will shoot at a 30th of a second, 30
Okay.
frames per second final video. So I'll shoot
Yeah.
at 1/60th of a second exposures whenever I can,
Yeah.
especially if I'm close to something. But if I'm not close to something, I shoot a lot in auto also. I mean, I think people that say I never return to home automatically, you have an automatic transmission in your car.
Yeah,
Just deal with it. The thing on your headlights, turn them on automatically. You leave it on there. I'll auto return. Of course, once in a while I'll do it manually just so you don't forget in case something
yeah,
fails. You want to be able to. But
Right.
auto works really well most of the time for most situations. And the most important thing is to get the shot.
Right.
So
True story for me. Last Friday, before I started my happy hour, I took my Mini 4 Pro up. We got a new apartment building getting built downtown. So anyway, I'm getting the drone powered up, walking outside, and three of the patrons in the bar are like, "Hey, can we watch it?" I'm like, "Yeah, come on out." So I say, "Hey, okay, I got to wait for satellites, yada yada yada. Get it, take it off." I said, "Now I want to get above this building, and I'm going to point the camera down, draw my little box around it, and tell it to do an orbit." And they're like, "You're not even touching the controls." I'm like,
Don't have to.
"Amazing technology." Well, then, return to home. I said, "Now watch this." So I hit the button, and they're like, "What's it doing?" I said, "Watch it." And here it comes, and it lands right where it took off. And they're like,
It's even
"Are
better if you
you
just turn
kidding
it
me?"
off. It's even better
Yeah,
if you just turn it off and say, "Oh, I don't even need to touch it." Click, turn it off, and then it's like, "What's going
yeah.
on?" It's
They,
coming
they were
home.
freaking out. They're like, I'm like, if I can do this, think what the government does, you know?
yeah.
I was in the Azore Islands and either my phone or my remote ran out of power while I was about 1,500 feet away. Came right back.
Yeah,
It's, a,
crazy.
it's amazing,
I'm a drone celebrity at the bar.
Yeah,
I
Yeah,
am.
it's true.
Well, it's funny. I got a phone call from the park district. They had a lacrosse tournament this weekend. And they're like, "Hey, can you go shoot the field before everybody gets out there because they got it all painted and yada, yada, yada?" I'm like, "Yeah, no problem." So, I mean, people know I've got drones and I'll take care of you guys.
I'm begging you to get a 107. You can do
I
it.
know.
Please.
yeah.
Fu-
But
If I
let's
can go
challenge each
through
other.
a testing system to get a license, then Bud can.
Bud, you can do it. Everyone
All
who
right.
doesn't do it is
Just
afraid,
because of your egging me on, I'll go for it.
and
Yeah,
I'll
I'll
help
hold
you.
my book, and I
Okay.
got another like 3 to 4 weeks out of work, so I really got to get the book and study. I brought it
Yeah.
home.
Right. Then you can legally give anyone anything. Um, people aren't necessarily going to complain, but this way they have nothing to stand on. If you're a 107, you will know how to
yeah. If you
fly
pick
better.
out that little
Yeah.
card,
Right. You'll know how to fly better. And you'll also be able to legally give anything to anyone, even to a charity, or
Yeah.
charge as you feel, because people always will take your advice or your work more seriously if you charge
when
something
you're
for it.
credentialed.
Right.
Yeah.
I
Well, the
It's
only thing I charge is you got to buy me a drink. I mean,
8 hours between
after you
what
fly.
Bottle and throttle.
right after you fly, eight
Bottle
hours.
throttle.
Thank you. Bottle to throttle. That was the phrase I forgot.
Yeah.
The Australian, of course,
Come
knows
on,
all
Bud. You
about
should know
drinking
that.
rules.
Hey,
That, that
Paul.
that's early on in the part 107. 8 hours bottle to throttle.
Bottle to throttle, but they don't say bottle to throttle.
Well,
That's just a cool
Jet
way of remembering
It's
it.
just an easy
Greg
way to
Revenue
remember. It's a
does
great
bottle
mnemonic.
to throttle.
Right. We got to see if Bud can ever take 8 hours. I don't know every day of the week
Yeah, they have the breathalyzer attached to the controller.
to the controller. Yeah,
But
like
yeah,
yeah,
Bud would be sunk.
I've never flown under the influence. I'll be
That's
more
good.
than honest.
That's good.
I've had enough problems with trees when I'm straight. So, no.
Don't we all?
Yes.
Trees are dicks.
Trees are dicks.
yeah,
Ken is right. Trees are dicks.
And birds ain't so nice either. So,
yeah.
Very true. Yeah, it depends on the bird. Some birds are super aggressive, and It depends on the environment. There's a city in Portugal called Porto, and all the birds are super aggressive.
Really? Wow.
Because
No worries, Paul.
maybe
There's
because I was
Paul.
there during nesting season or something, but they do not like it. And then, of course, have you seen the recent video of the um, Vic asked me to take it down from one of the groups where I administer. Is someone flying near, I guess, a red hawk at a
Ooh.
McDonald's sign?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
wait a minute.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Why are you harassing a bird? I'm so glad that bird destroyed that guy's drone. I hope he never
Yeah.
buys another one again. It's an animal. Why are you going that close to it?
Well, what about the guy who kept flying in the flock, in and out of the flock, and out of the flock? They finally took him out.
Yeah.
And he just kept going in and out and in and out and in and out.
He
Just
got
rolling the dice every time.
well. He got
rolling the
flocked
dice.
himself.
He
Yeah.
got flocked.
My experience with the red-tailed hawk is they like the drone. They fly with it. They're like, okay, cool, let's go, and they'll let me catch them sitting in the tree, and they sit all pretty and everything. And heck,
If you
one
don't
even
get too
landed on
close.
my deck, like, I'm here, come get my picture,
You've been lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll
Now,
get to that, Paul.
if they were to turn aggressive, yeah, I'm going to land and get the hell away from them. But
You don't have time. They're gonna get you within a second.
well, even down at the farm, we got like 13 or 14 pigeons, and they'll fly in formation behind the drone. It's like, it's not your mom, you know? They don't bother the drone, but they follow it. It's like, you guys are nuts.
That should be the worst problem you have with a bird.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah, if they follow it.
So far, nothing with a bird. Nothing where the bird decided to take me down. But
Yeah, I haven't had problems. I've seen birds and I'm
Oh,
like, okay, I'm getting away.
yep.
Hello, Alex.
Alex,
Hey, Alex.
Alex Escargot. Oh,
Yes, the
There you go.
legendary.
exactly. Great guy. Great guy to hang around. Discuss.
Oh, yeah. Paul commenting
Yeah.
there on the sci-fi or sci-fly. I
Yeah.
don't know. That's a big drone. Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, really long arms, like spindly.
Yeah.
Then very
Not bulky.
expensive and nothing you and I are licensed to fly at this point.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Well, I'm happy with what I do, which is marketing
I still-
videos typically. And
I
they're
still want to know. I still want to know how Wi-Fi can get more forward flight time in a traditional quadcopter than they can hover flight time, because DJI has always done hover tests for our battery lasts 45 minutes in a hover in a room with no wind.
Yeah.
This thing is outside going for 2 hours, and they say, oh, but it can go forward for 3. How does that work in physics?
I can say I'm the king of Siam. Prove me wrong. I don't know. I don't think it can, but they can say whatever they want, and then you
I
can
think
test
if it's
it.
in a tailwind, it'll go for 3 hours, not 2.
I doubt it. I very much doubt it.
That's the only way.
If you, Jeff, if anyone can dance, yeah, that would be no, Paul. I like having him as a guest. This way we can just mute him if
Yeah.
we don't let him back on the show, Dom. Hijack the show. Let him come to Australia and take it back.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay, chaps,
Buds out, sneak Paul in.
we're gonna do the Sunday roast. So this week,
Uh-oh.
here we go. I posted it last week on my YouTube feed, but put it on the show as well. So
All right.
Let's talk about the death of the Sunday roast. There was a time long before Deliveroo and food prep kits when the Sunday roast wasn't just food, it was a ritual, a weekly pause, a gathering, a moment where the oven worked overtime and the house smelled like actual effort. Families would orbit around the kitchen all day making snide remarks and pretending to help. This meal took hours. The conversations were louder and the food was unapologetically hearty. Roasting something on a Sunday was proof that you gave a damn. Now we graze, we snack, we meal substitute, and the Sunday roast has become a vibe on Pinterest and an occasional excuse for influencers to post their aunt's Yorkshire puddings. We've traded the roast for kale, chips, and cold-pressed juices. Half the population thinks a roast is what happens in a group chat when someone wears Crocs to the beach. The other half doesn't even have an oven. They've got a Wi-Fi connected air fryer that they barely understand. We outsource the entire event to apps and excuses. We don't roast anymore because it takes time. It takes planning. It's messy. You have to walk to people while you wait. Can't have that, can we? We'd rather inhale beige food alone with scrolling through reels of other people pretending their lives have meaning. We've replaced meals and meats with Uber Eats and 3 streaming services. And here's the kicker. We don't even feel guilty about it. We've convinced ourselves that convenience is the same as care. There's no spiritual fulfillment in eating out on a compostable container while watching the 5th season of a show you forgot you like. It's not tradition. It's not connection. It's not even substance on autopilot. The roast didn't disappear overnight. It was a slow, shameful fading to lukewarm mediocrity. First, it was the potatoes microwaved instead of roasted. Then it was packeted gravy. Then came the frozen, pre-marinated chicken breast that somehow managed to be both slimy and dry. Eventually, we stopped inviting people over. The table got used for laundry. The oven became storage. So no, I don't just miss the food. I miss what it stood for. I miss giving a damn. And if that makes me sound old-fashioned, good. Call me what you want, but at least know what a parsnip is. And I know it belongs next to the proper roast, not hidden in a smoothie. We don't need to go back to everything from the past, but maybe we should bring back the roast, not for the calories or the carbs, but for the connection, for the effort, for the unspoken agreement that on a Sunday we show up, we eat slow, and we act like life is worth seasoning.
Yay, Dominic.
Yes.
Now you have to tell all the kids, you get off my lawn.
We have a roast almost once a week.
First of all, I cooked 12 chicken legs. Well, actually, they were on the grill for an hour with dipping them with whatever lime sauce. Yesterday, we had bratwurst on the grill.
Yeah.
We still eat.
Oh,
I should have droned it, but I didn't.
Hey, remember, the drone is a good camera, but it doesn't do everything well. So, I mean, there are people that try to do interviews with drones. I mean, that's like trying to hammer with a wrench. You might be
Right.
able to do it, but you'd be much better off doing it with a hammer.
Right.
So,
Well,
you don't have to.
speaking of things that don't work, I'm going to take where did I do with it? I'm taking the Neo tomorrow with the microphone mini and my phone because Paul wants me to do some golf shots so he can do wacky golf sports analysis of my swing. So I'm going to fly one of the holes tomorrow, hopefully with the microphone working, talking to my phone, talking to the Neo. We'll see how it turns out.
Cursing at the golf ball.
Yes.
Address the ball.
Hello, ball.
There you go.
God, that was
yeah.
If you don't know the reference, you guys are losing out on life.
Jackie Gleason.
Be the ball.
Right.
Hello, ball.
Address the ball. Hello, ball. So, how many episodes does Jackie Gleason show have? Does anyone know? A classic show.
No idea.
Yeah.
Fun fact, I think it was only 39 episodes.
Oh, that's...
Which was a year and a half. And still is a classic.
Classic, yeah.
That everyone knows.
Well, I read an article where Jackie Gleason and Red Skelton both said, you know what, screw you, because the TV stations wanted to get a little more racy, and they wanted to keep it family oriented, and they're like, no, we're done, we're out. So
It's possible.
Interesting.
you'll have to scream, get a hole in them.
Get in the hole.
Get in the hole. Get in the hole.
It's in the hole.
It's in the hole. Yeah, be the ball. How many more Caddyshack references can we get in?
I've lived near golf courses my whole life, so I hear people cursing all the time.
Your Honor, Your Honor.
I've lived near and on golf courses my whole life.
Well, I've been mowing and working at one for 25 years. So.
Wow.
Well, it works for you.
Wait. What would that say? Nothing promotes
Abstinence.
Why is we go so low? My ass, we're 36,000 people. We were 3,000 40 years ago.
Thank God for inbreeding. Oops.
Trust me, if you sat at the bar, you'd understand. Yes.
Gotcha. So
where's your next trip, Jeff?
probably Florida, I think. Probably Florida.
What, for pre-warming for drone meetup 26?
Next year, I don't know. Ray's getting very tough with his rules. It's hard for an old guy like me to stand on my feet for 6 hours. I showed up.
He's trying to weed out the weak.
Yeah, I think he's trying to weed out the weak, but I'm getting weak as I'm getting older. I showed up when he said, and you got to be there by 12 noon. I showed up at 11:58. I drove like crazy, but yeah, we were up very late the night before for something, so it was hard to get there. And I don't stay at the hotel because we have family down there. So now he says you got to be there by 10. I don't know. I think Ray, you should split the mill, maybe 11. It's hard for old people like me to stand, and him too. He's got we're all getting older. We're all getting older. Oh, listen, if you're not getting older, then you're in bonds.
Get them the little portable seats that you can they start this thing and just pop right out.
Well, I carry one of them. Them little fold-out
lids on the top too.
No, I carry.
I love being there. I love speaking to everyone, but the first time I was there at 5-something a.m. before sunrise. I did a hyperlapse, and then we weren't done till 4, and that's a long day. Even 6 a.m. to 4 p.m. That's a 10-hour day, and I couldn't do that.
That's a lot of battery charge.
Hey, listen, I'm going to respect the rules, but Ray, 11 a.m. maybe, please. Pretty please with sugar on top, Captain Ray.
One of these years, I'll try and get down there.
Yeah. There's actually a drone. Anyone who's listening who's on Long Island, very unfortunate incident. A guy was training for triathlon about 2 weeks ago, and he disappeared off the South Shore. And we have a town called Long Beach, and Ray has been there, I believe, at least 3 times on this search, and I'm trying to find time I might be able to do it this week because that family deserves something to help them because it's just a tragedy. A 20-something-year-old.
Did they ever find him?
That's why they're asking for people to fly drones, and I'll fly out. It's probably going to be close to the shore, but I would fly out a mile and back, or at least a half mile and back. And I've got a lot of batteries in my Autel.
Yeah.
So
Do you have thermal?
Huh?
Do you have any thermal?
I do not have thermal currently, unfortunately.
Yeah, we had a.
Hey, you're a tough man. You're a tough man.
We had a drowning in the Fox River here, just block from where I live, and our police department. I think they have the M310 or something like that.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, they used it. They found him, and then the fire department went in, and unfortunately, he had drowned. But they did find him and was able to retrieve the body. But yeah, sad.
The drones can be used for a lot of good. The people that just don't realize that think everyone's trying to
Yeah,
spy on you, and they've never seen what the drone camera actually sees. They don't
yeah,
know any better. They don't know that people. If you want to spy on someone, you can use a lot better things than a drone. Because if
yeah,
I'm close enough to see anything embarrassing, you're going to hear me. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just people
Okay.
want
Well,
to.
you bring up a good question. How many have had, what is it, Karen and Kurt's, problems? I've never had. All I've had is positive.
Once.
Can I see what you're doing?
yeah,
Because you live around cows and corn. That's why.
yeah.
Well, there's a few pigs
So,
in there too.
Okay.
all right, I got a little story for you. We were at a meetup in Rhode Island with Paul Wedgenbig and a few other people, and most people had camera drones up for the sunset and the time lapse. I had the Avata up, and it was a pretty big park, and I was flying around a lot, and we did have somebody kind of come over to our group and was kind of a little bit upset. And I'm kind of like trying to land the Avata in the background, sneaking while everyone's like intercepting them. So you never really actually saw me personally, but everyone's like, "Oh no, we're not trying to harass anyone. We're not taking pictures. We're all here for the sunset." Except for me, I'm there for the FPV.
Right.
I forgot about this, but at the Las Vegas drone meetup, we went to it wasn't a national park, maybe it was a national something else that you were allowed to fly.
Cool.
And we were there and we were being respectful. We weren't buzzing people. We were flying around, but some guy started complaining within earshot, but not on top of us. And he must have called the guy who's in charge of the park ranger, whatever. But anyway, I had landed my drone, and if I'm in a place with a lot of people, that drone's going to be directly below my feet. So, and between my legs, so no one's going to step on it. So this guy is walking right straight at me, and he's mumbling something,
Hmm.
and I'm like, I just put my hand out like this, and I just move the guy aside so he doesn't step on my drone. Which I don't know if he was going to, but he looked like he was going to. And then he stepped on a rock and sort of lost his footing and fell partially onto a bush. So then a week later, did you hear Jeff Norman shove this guy into a bush? Boy, that reputation should be out there. Don't screw with a New Yorker. There you go.
Yeah,
That's
That's
through the
funny.
drone pilot.
That's right. And I may have been wearing my anti-Karen Drone Society shirt at the time. I may have.
oh, nice.
So, yeah, I mean, some people are just looking to complain in everything in life, not just for drones.
Right.
This is just an easy target, but people looking to complain, you know, when you live in an apartment building and you hear anyone doing anything, you're going to complain. And some
There are
people are just
people out there
miserable
that just,
pricks.
yeah, there are people out there that just love complaining.
Right.
And, that's the basis behind talkback radio, I reckon.
Uh-huh.
I
I
reckon
was wearing a
talkback
shirt.
radio is specifically designed for people that do that. And we've got so many people that get up every morning and have to find something that they're outraged by. It's like outrage bingo. They have to fill their outrage bingo card every morning with something, or even it's like an outrage wallet. Your wallet's empty, so you've got to fill it with outrage. It just
I've got a shirt. I wore just the other day, and it says "Official member of the Piss and Moan About Everything Club."
yeah.
Love it.
Everybody has to be
Not today,
outraged
but
by something.
They don't have to be, but I think if you don't have anything fulfilling in your life, that
Yeah,
helps fulfill your time and your energy. And boiled emotions is a successful tool to use people to do what you want them to do rather than to let them fulfill themselves.
yeah. And then for me, and then for me, I'm outraged because people are not outraged by it. And then at the
Well,
same time, I'm outraged because no one's outraged by being outraged. So where does
that's
it
why it
end?
doesn't bother me to
It's
be
a race to
outraged.
the bottom of outrage.
Well,
Look at
let's
bad
just look at
and
what's going
outrage.
on with the world. We should be outraged. I
Yeah.
mean, let's all just
This
get along.
this background scene, I'm outraged about. Not this one, that one.
Oh,
My,
his basement,
Yeah,
my
that's outrageous.
office, Jeff.
your office. Okay.
Want me to turn the lights on so you can really see it?
Warren is asking, have you ever had any camera
Is your
issues
cat?
with your regular camera with a telephoto lens on it? Um,
Only at the nudist colony.
no,
Yeah.
I don't do that.
Next
Um,
door to the nudist colony.
actually, I
There's
have
been no
I have a
trespass
street
from the
camera.
colony.
I have a street camera, which is something you use that is somewhat inconspicuous to shoot with. That you can take pictures on the street when people aren't paying attention. And I've learned sort of to give the signals that I'm not taking a picture of them while I am taking a picture of them. Um, I've had some instances, but typically not because you're not pointing the telephoto. I did have one where at a community festival where I shot pictures of kids walking into something, and a woman said, "Did you take pictures of my kids?" I said, "Yes, I'm here to take pictures for the church for this event." And she said, "Well, I want those deleted." I said, "No problem, no big deal." It wasn't the kids' faces, but it's fine. Um, so that was about as close as I came to having a Karen episode. Um, no one's touching my camera. No one's hitting delete buttons.
Yeah.
No one ever ripped film out of my camera in the old days. Um,
Oh God. Ugh.
so,
Mm.
so I haven't had that exact warrant, but yes, I've had during drone episodes a couple times when people said you can't fly here, and I said, "What part of the FAA do you work for?"
Yeah. There you
Because I'm
go.
a licensed drone pilot and I am allowed to fly here. Have a nice day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, I'm thankful. I've never had a problem.
Hmm.
I mean, well, the biggest concern I have is when I'm flying the golf course is, am I going to make the video? Well, if you hit a good shot, I might put you in the video.
Mm.
Get your 107.
I know.
Be legit. It's not
You and me
hard.
both.
It's not hard.
Okay, Grandpa.
I'm just listen. I'm letting you know if anything, God forbid, happens, no insurance policy will cover you. Just
I
like if
know. I know.
someone who doesn't have a driver's license gets into an accident, hey, I'm only driving. Nothing will cover you.
Um, what's the best route to take it? I mean, because there's that Pilot Institute or whatever.
That's
Greg
what I
and
got.
Pilot Institute is a great choice,
Yeah.
and the popular choice because he is so active among the whole drone world. I will also tell you, Drone Launch Academy does an excellent job, and
Okay.
we are all different types of learners. Some are visual learners, some are auditory learners, some are
Mm.
touch and feel learners, some are readers. Um, so they all offer like flashcards and videos and audio recordings and the video stream that goes you
Quizzes.
through everything. They all offer that. Those are the two that I'm the most familiar with that I've gone through all of them. Um, and they're both totally excellent. Drone Launch Academy and Pilot Institute. And I would say Pilot Institute is
Mm.
one that reaches out to more events and tries to be part of it. He's really good about staying in touch with the community. But I've looked at both.
Wait. I just want to tell Warren, yeah, that. Never mind.
Okay. Um, take that, and then there's an old, like 6 or 7 year old video online by a guy named Tony Northrup, who's a
Yeah.
photographer who uses drones correctly as a B-roll tool to get introductory imagery, but it's not the main part of a video. Um, but Tony does a review, and for free, it's excellent.
All right. Hey, tell you what. Message me on Facebook tomorrow when I've not had those, and I will work on it, Jeff. I
Okay.
promise.
I
And
will say for Drone Launch Academy, it's lifelong. Like you can take the course in a month, and pass it. If you're that much into it, you can take a year, you can take 2 years into it. Once you pay for it, it's always waiting for you to get back to it whenever you
Okay.
realize
Right.
I got time. I got to get the frick back into it.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
So
And
I
obviously,
don't.
you can go backwards. If you don't really remember chapter one, you can still go back to
Yeah.
chapter one.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure Greg's courses are like that as well. I think
Yep.
that they know what each other does. And um, yes, Warren, I am a big fan of Tony in many ways. Um, so I think using multiple tools is the best way. And these paid services are well worth it. And then supplement it with Tony, you know, maybe a week before you're going to take it, and then you'll have two different voices telling you the same things, and you'll be. And by the way, all the stuff about weather and landing runways and stuff, it doesn't really apply. You still got to
Yeah.
know, and you don't have to get a
Yeah.
hundred. You don't have to
Okay.
get 100. You're fine
Yeah, that's the only thing that's has, I guess, scared me. Is like, why do I need to know all that stuff?
Oh,
because
all
they
the
say you
airport
do.
runway crap
I
Yeah.
know.
Because they say you do, and
and the
until
weather
that
That's
crap.
right.
changed, listen, I'm glad we have a functioning FAA to some extent, despite the crashes.
Yeah.
So I'll take what they have. Is it necessary? I think the weather stuff is. I think the maps certainly are. The
Yeah.
runway stuff.
Yeah.
You,
Yeah.
you if you're on a runway, it's a problem.
Yeah.
Yes,
If
Bill.
we're in a
Also,
runway, it's a
Yeah.
problem.
Pilot Institute. Bill Walton just said Pilot Institute
Yeah.
also is lifetime. Once you
Yeah.
pay for the courses,
Yeah,
they
that's what I
stay
was
up
talking
there and
about.
you can use them. You've paid for the use of the course for your life.
Yep.
All right.
Okay.
If and when I pass, I want a special gift just from you, Jeff.
Oh, uh-oh.
Like,
Okay, I'll have to come up with something good.
oh no, like one of your really primo Las Vegas shots or something, that I can use for my backdrop. I'm not asking for money.
No problem.
I just want a cool shot.
I'll be happy,
He wants a
and
sweet background.
Yes.
I'll be happy to give you something.
Sweet. Cool.
It might
All
be
Okay.
right.
more.
I'll try.
We're coming up to the hour, so let's have a brief discussion at the end. Jeff, you're up. Anything you want to promote?
Anything I want to promote? Be peaceful. Be smart. Treat people like you want to be treated yourself. And to all the mothers out there, thank you for all the work you've done for your children and how that's been passed down to others. So bless all of you. Happy Mother's Day.
Thank you,
Awesome.
Jeff. And you're next, Jim.
Hey, so yeah, happy Mother's Day to everyone out there. Most people in our audience, you've all got mothers or you're married to mothers, but make sure you say Happy Mother's Day to them. Just get out there and fly as much as you can. We got a lot of bad weather around here lately. It sucks, but that's what simulators are for. When you can't fly because it's 40-mile-an-hour wind, get in the simulator and practice. But just get out there and get together and fly often. We've got some meet coming up this year, so that's cool. We got some people coming up. We're looking forward to that.
To
And
New Hampshire, to where is it? Rhode Island?
yeah. I don't know at the top of my head who else is coming by, but there's a few people coming by.
Sweet.
Very good.
Okay, Bud, you're up.
Well, I want to thank you, Dom, first of all, for taking over for Paul. Hope
Yep.
everything he's doing is good for him. Again, happy Mother's Day to all you mothers out there. Mine unfortunately passed away in 2021 at 98 years old, and she survived me, so
Awesome.
that's good. And I apologize to Jim for sending and Jeff to sending you all the bad weather that we've had. But we've had a gorgeous day and we got a great week coming. So I'm going to get up, do some air flying, and do some things Jeff suggested, taking different kinds of pictures and videos. So anyway, everybody fly safe. Thanks again, Dom.
No worries, Paul. Okay. Well, we've come to the end of the show. So I'm going to make a a comment on mental health, because mental health is very important. Mental health is something that it's a full stop. It's not a side project. It's not a nice to have. It's not something you deal with only when you're falling apart. It's real and critical as your blood pressure, your immune system, and a broken toe. And yet we treat it like something that's optional. Like you can keep grinding, keep pushing, keep pretending you're fine, while on the inside in your head is basically on fire. That's not strength. That's a ticking time bomb wrapped in a smile. And if anybody tells you to suck it up, stop being dramatic, that says more about their comfort zone than your reality. Mental health is not a luxury for the privileged. It's survival, it's clarity. It's being able to show up not just for others, but yourself. So, yeah, mental health is important, and prioritizing it doesn't make you soft. It makes you smart, it makes you brave, and it makes you dangerous to everything that tries to break you. So, thank you, everybody. And we will play the intro out, and we'll see you at another time. Good night.
Great job, Dom.
Good.
The sky so far away tonight, but I can't lose this one. Got a pride of a falling night. Thought that I was fit to fight for us to be. You gave me life for loving me. Tell me, where did we go so wrong? Who ready? We ready. Who ready? We ready. Who ready? Who? We ready. Who? Who ready? Who? We ready. Who? Motivation of youth only. Mentally feel like Kobe. I'm like Jokic with the rock. You physically couldn't hold me. I don't care if you pushing 40. You can never little bro me. Euro step like Ginobili, from young OG to the OG. From nosebleeds to floor seats, circle stronger than Cuban links. My gold dance, your gold